Imagine living in a world where you could be punished just for expressing your thoughts. Sounds unreal, right? But even today, around the world, and sometimes even online, people face consequences for simply speaking their minds. So what does free speech truly mean?
There are multiple bills in progress that force teachers to teach a certain kind of history and avoid divisive topics. Teachers are already suffering punishment for exercising their right to free speech in the classroom. Though the First Amendment is partially waived for public employees like educators, they are still protected in various ways to be able to speak on issues of public interest. In this documentary, we will see how much the First Amendment is being upheld and where it is being entirely disregarded by the Ohio government. A bill is currently working its way through the government called HB 327. This bill will prohibit educators from discussing topics termed divisive, a word defined in the text of the bill to include content that argues that the United States is fundamentally racist or sexist, and meritocracy or traits such as hard work ethic are racist or sexist, or were created by a particular group of people. This bill clearly states that shall teach, instruct, or train any divisive concepts, nor shall any school district require a student to advocate for or against a specific topic or point of view to receive credit for any coursework. This text clearly advocates for allowing bigotry and denial of history, as well as prohibiting room for nuanced discussion of sociology, government, and other topics. This clearly violates the First Amendment. Another incoming bill, proving itself to be reactionary just in its title, is the Charlie Kirk American Heritage Act, or HB 486. This bill is an attempt to require teachers to instruct students using Christian doctrine, writing an excessively inaccurate history of Christianity in America, with no mention of other religions. By forcing teachers to specifically teach Christian history, this bill is in clear violation of multiple terms in the First Amendment, including freedom of religion and freedom of speech. Beyond these potential bills passing and worsening the situation, Ohio educators are already suffering from restrictions on their free speech in schools.
We interviewed various Ohio educators to gather their opinions on free speech policy. These teachers are experiencing the ramifications of bills like HB 486 in real time.
Fifth year of teaching. I've taught my entire career in the same school district. Went for my interview when I was 23 years old. It just felt like going home.
Before we talk about the lawsuit specifically, can you give a short overview of what happened leading up to your suspension and eventual legal action?
It's an in-service where teachers were told that, LGBTQ students might not feel comfortable approaching every teacher, and it might be helpful if they knew which teachers were open to conversations. And so they were given little rainbow stickers to put on their laptop or their door frame or something so that students would know who they could talk to if they needed to. The board reacted by telling teachers that not only could they not wear those pins or put those stickers on their desks, but any other rainbow in their classroom, whether it was a poster or an art project, had to be removed. And that made kind of a big splash in the newsroom. And students that have just one adult that's willing to support them have up to a 40% less risk of self-harm. And so I looked around and I attended an in-service online through GLSEN, which provided high-quality, award-winning children's literature at different grade levels. And I thought, well, I'll get those books and they'll be available for kids who need them.
Your lawsuit challenges New Richmond Board of Education's Policy 2240 on controversial issues, arguing that it is unconstitutionally vague and violates the Equal Protection Clause. Could you explain in your own words what you believe is vague about the policy and how that vagueness impacted you?
I think the word controversial is vague. I mean, in my lawsuit, Mark flat out said anything two people disagree on can be considered controversial. And how many people have to be on each side of that issue before it's controversial? When that term controversial issue is used, we all know what they mean. Mm-hmm. They mean LGBTQ issues and some of the other kind of culture war issues that people are upset about right now.
Since you have chosen to appeal the case, what positive changes or initiatives have you focused on since the lawsuit?
I am starting a nonprofit called the Rainbow Classroom Legal Fund to protect and promote LGBTQ students, educators, and families who experience discrimination in public schools.
From your experience, do you think teachers today face more or fewer limitations on their freedom of speech compared to when you first started?
Teachers are afraid to say anything that might get them, someone might disagree with. Their fear of being retaliated against. I think, unfortunately, that does have an effect on teacher-student relationships. If they don't feel like they can be supportive of all the students in their classroom, then that puts a wall between students and their teachers and staff. I mean, every school has LGBTQ staff, and how must that feel as a staff member to realize that your district finds you so much of an issue that they can't even have books in the student's library that describe a kid who has two moms or two dads?
What keeps you motivated to continue teaching and advocating after going through such a challenging and public experience?
I love it. If I didn't love it, I wouldn't have made it this long. And if I didn't love the kids, I would not have stepped out and kind of put my neck on the chopping block with this whole lawsuit.
I've worked in education for 19 years, and I currently serve as an assistant superintendent in a school district located in Cuyahoga County.
Everyone, I am a 7th grade history teacher. This is my first full-time year in education. I have been working in and out of school districts as a substitute teacher, both as a building sub, long-term sub, day-to-day, for the last few years right out of college. But this is my first year full-time in the classroom. I currently work for Cuyahoga Valley Christian Academy in Cuyahoga Falls.
So I'm Riley Keene. I currently a AP Government and American History teacher here at Stowe Monroe Falls High School.
I'm currently a career teacher at the high school, and this is my 25th year. So I taught everything from American history to world history to psychology to current events. I pretty much anything that you could teach in social studies, I taught.
Yes, I actually have been a teacher for 22 years. I taught 2nd grade all 22 years.
I believe those conversations are present within classroom settings, but certainly if there's any concern about a conversation, or if it's rising to the level that the teacher believes they might need to, the teacher is going to redirect the conversation.
There's sometimes the stereotype that there would not be free discussion. I've noticed there actually is quite a bit. I can speak really much only from my school, but there's a tremendous amount of open discussion.
I think it's more free in my classes than I've heard in some of the other government classes, and I think that's because I'm a little bit less afraid to ask kind of kids what they think. My curriculum kind of lends itself to it.
I think no, but I think educators have a responsibility to display effective communication skills. I do, but I think teachers or educators in that position should not disclose what their beliefs are.
In 7th grade, I don't get that many controversial or political discussions. I don't shy away from these discussions with students.
Absolutely, 100%. They need to be. I think we all really love it when there's current events that you can tie it to, because the student comes in and goes and wants a million questions about it. Nail down your curriculum. Have a clear-cut direction for what you're doing. If it connects to your curriculum, then talk about it. If you feel like you can't control it anymore, then you probably shouldn't bring it up.
I try to stick as much as possible to the standards. Just be careful. Even with kids with cell phones and things like that, they can tape it, and next thing you know, you're on the news, and then
I can be honest with you, I wouldn't give any advice, because my own kids, I told them they were not allowed to go into the education field. you can see the system going down, what level we're at in regards to other countries.
Teachers play a vital role in shaping the minds of future generations, yet their ability to speak freely is often challenged by politics or policy. Freedom of speech is not just a constitutional right, it's the foundation of honest education.
Teachers have to feel free to be able to support their students.